things on the track out of Baltimore Polytech by the name of William Henderson. So we have him live in the show today. So you'll be able to call in, ask him questions pertaining to anything you want in track and field. Coach Tony?
I just can't wait to talk to him. Young man seems like he has some interesting stories to share. So I'm ready to talk to him. I'm pumped to talk to him.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great show. It's definitely going to be a great show. I guess this morning, before we get Wim in here, we can talk a little bit about actually our camp, our Sprinters Boot Camp that we just completed over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday gave us great weather, beautiful weather, almost 70 degrees today.
Friday we were indoors.
Fridays we were indoor, and today not so much, a little cold.
Ooh, I'm still cold. I'm still recovering.
It was pretty cold.
It was rough.
It was rough. But we got through it. The athletes definitely came and seemed to gravitate to the terminology that we were teaching them and trying to implement and get across to helping them with their mechanics, their sprinter mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So today we had sprinters 55 to 400. We actually had 1,600 meter runners,
Long
800 meter
yep,
runners.
distance runners. Yep.
So we had a mixed bag of plenty of athletes out there this weekend for our boot camp. Say definitely it was a success. The weather was great to us. Even though it was a little cold today, we couldn't complain. Still held it up, no rain, and the athletes were able to get through the technical drills that we were trying to teach. So the camp was definitely a success.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. So we can move into some of the current standings right now as far as NCAA is concerned. Now that we're going into outdoor season, we got the top 5 rankings for the men and the women. So the top 5 rankings for the men going into outdoor, we have Florida ranked number 1, Oregon ranked number 2, Arkansas is ranked number 3, Texas A&M is ranked number 4, and LSU is ranked number 5. So those are early rankings, early standings for the men's track and field outdoor season. For the women, we have Oregon ranked number 1, Kentucky's ranked number 2, Arkansas is ranked number 3, LSU is 4, and Southern California is ranked number 5. So that's the standings going outdoors for the women's NCAA track and field, which is typically not a surprise. You always see Oregon. They train pretty hard. You always see Arkansas, LSU, Kentucky. Kentucky's really starting to get into the mix a little bit. Really starting to get into the mix. And Southern California is always there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Something you want to say?
No, I was just adjusting my mic.
You were pointing at me.
I thought he wanted you to adjust your mic.
Oh. Jumping back over to the men, Florida, always in the running. You got Texas A&M men, who was the NCAA indoor champions, always in the running. They're 4th right now. LSU men, Oregon, Arkansas. And, you know, I kind of like to tell...
These are the teams you usually expect to see there.
Right? Yes.
The perennials, they're always in the rankings.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're always in the ranking. Some of the things that I tell some of the high school athletes when they're training, competing, is when you're looking at the rankings, don't just look at the rankings, but look at the athletes. Look at the athletes in general, and just look at the conditioning and the shape that they're in. Just look at that. You can look at the Oregon top sprinters, the women from top to bottom, and they're just is fit.
Yeah, and they love running track.
They love running track.
You can't just like running track.
No.
when you run in one of them schools. You can't just like running.
No.
You better love running, because every track meet is a competition.
Yeah.
I mean, every practice
Right.
is a
And
competition.
that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why they're so fit.
Yeah.
Because they know
Yeah.
I gotta compete. I gotta bring it every day.
Every
Just
practice
because
they got to
I'm
compete.
I'm the top at school right now, at high school. I can relax a little bit. I don't have to come to practice and work as hard. That's gonna change when you get to college. Because you got other people coming from other parts of the country that are just as good as you, that are competing for that number 1 spot at the school.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We got somebody local right now. The 100-meter sprinter, women's, that's currently number 1 in the nation. She won 11.70. That's Simone Glenn, former Glen Arden Track Club athlete, former Bullis High athlete. So she's now currently in the standings for the women NCAA. She's ranked number 1 with 11.70. So that's exciting that we have somebody from our region that's U.S. number 1 right now in the collegiate standings. That's it. That's all I got for you, Coach.
Okay.
That's all I got.
That's enough.
That's enough?
That's enough.
Okay.
I'm ready to get on to William.
You ready to get on to William?
Yes,
all right,
sir.
we take a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to bring in William Henderson from Polytech. We now have William Henderson in the studio, and we're going to jump right into the interview and ask him, what was your feeling after winning the long jump at New Balance? How did that feel?
It felt really good for the fact that it was a goal for
Move his mic
for
to
a
him.
year.
Can you help me?
Because like I wanted to win last year.
Turn it up.
You good? Okay. I wanted to win last year. I got second last year, so it was a goal for me to train and to work hard and get back to indoor, because I was hurt outdoor, so I couldn't win outdoor. So it was a goal for me to go back there around the same weekend and go out there and win my first national championship that I came so close to winning last year, but came out short. So to win this year, and basically in a similar fashion, I jumped the same jump. It's just that I ended up getting the win this time, and it was great competitors as always. I have a good friend, Jalen Seals from Texas, who I jumped against, who almost passed me on the last jump. But I ended up passing my last jump and ended up coming up with the win with an inch and a half. I think he jumped like 24/7. So afterwards, I was just overwhelmed, really, because I know I had worked so hard for it. Like I said, it was like a year's mission just to get back to New Balance. And I was doing 3 events, but long jump was the event that I really wanted to win. Just for the fact that I had I had came in second last year, and it kind of hurt, but it really didn't because that was my first, my highest placing championship medal that I've gotten, throughout my track career, and that's what really, starstruck me or introduced me into the world of track and field at that point. So to win this year was a goal coming in, and I'm glad that it actually happened this year.
Now, going into New Balance, were you U.S. number one? What was your ranking going in?
So I was U.S. number 2.
Okay.
Because I had jumped
Behind who?
Jalen Washington from North Carolina.
Okay.
I was going in number 2 because I had jumped 24 at FIT Invitational. I had jumped 24.6 at Hispanic Games. So that was like early in the year. So Hispanic Game was like January.
Right.
And Maryland, we don't have long jump in our state championship. So I wasn't able to long jump at all. During the championship season, unlike some people. So the guy who was U.S. number 1 jumped 24.7 and a half, which is an inch and a half further than I was during the season. So going in, I was U.S. number 2, but I was favored to win because I was the top seed, and Jayla wasn't there. So when I went into New Balance, I went into the mindset that I know who the jumpers are, because the jumpers from last year basically are the same people that were there last year, except for the winners and the seniors.
Right.
We had 3 of the returning All-Americans from last year. So I knew it was going to be a tough competition. I knew Jalen was going to go out there and compete. I knew Noah was going to go out there and compete from Alabama. So I knew what I had to do. So when it came down to training purposes, me not jumping as much, I just tried to do as much as I could because, they have kind of the advantage because they're both from down south. They're both from Texas and Alabama, so they can jump at their state championship. They can jump outside because, it's hotter down there.
Right.
So the week before Nationals, I had a tune-up meet in New York. It was like a New York Youth Championship or something like that, and that was just to break the cobwebs for me to jump. So I hadn't jumped like a month before that meet. So I went down there, competed. I felt really good on the runway. I left some good jumps on the table. I had fouled a lot at that meet, but I ended up coming with like a 22.10, something that I really didn't like.
Right.
But mentally I knew if I had like a week of practice and I came back the next week, I knew I would be fine. So
what's your training schedule like? Because I know long jump, you're a sprinter, and hurdles.
Yeah.
So how do you divide that up? The reason why I'm asking is because you're U.S. ranked in all 3. So how do you divide those?
And all of those disciplines you got to have strict mechanics.
Yeah. So my training schedule, indoor is a little bit better than is outdoor per se, because outdoor we have meets, and we have like Baltimore City meets on Wednesday. So it's kind of hard to divide up my training schedule based on my meet schedule. Because sometimes I'll compete at the meets on Wednesday, sometimes I won't. Just based off the competition. Because we have some great competition in the city, but sometimes it's not really necessary.
Right.
And facilities play a part in that as well.
Right.
But basically, I try to split up my training into days, and sometimes I'll split my days in half depending on like the week. So Monday is usually sprint day, and we'll do probably hurdles at the end. So I'll probably do like half a sprint work and do hurdles at the end, and that's like a lot of repetition. So I'll probably do like a 300, 250, 150, then go to hurdles and do a lot of reps of hurdles. Because like with my hurdle coach, is a lot of repetition. Depending on what I do Wednesday, if I'm not jumping Wednesday, I probably will have jump practice on Tuesday with my father. So that's a lot of runway work, technique work, body position work, landing work. I don't triple jump anymore. Just due to my back. So when it comes down to long jump, you have to focus on a lot of little things.
So are you involved in your training schedule at all? Are your coaches kind of pulling you in and giving you insight as well as allowing your voice to be heard in the training schedule?
Yeah. So like, are you trying to say like, do I have a word on like what I want to do for that certain day? Yeah. I definitely do. I study myself, and I study my craft as a general. So
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I study myself and I study my craft like as a whole.
No, we really want you to say that again.
I wanted you
to want the young ones to hear that.
I wanted you to say that because there's a reason why you're ranked in the U.S. Because what you just said, you have to study, right? It's not all just about what you're doing in practice, What are you doing when you get at home?
Yeah.
I mean, because the internet is wide open, so you can go and you can study yourself. You can study other athletes that are setting the times or jumping the distance that you're jumping.
You gotta know what your competition is doing.
Right, so that you can educate yourself. They think it's just track, but you gotta study. You have to study. So I'm glad you said that.
And you can't just wait for your parents to give you information.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that you study and you research and you learn your craft for yourself, because you have to seek that information. It can't be always what your parents feed you, you know?
So outside of your studying for your books in school, which is extremely important as well, how many hours of studying off the track do you think you put into it?
Ooh, I put in a lot of hours, really. Because, like, studying can mean anything. Because, like, when I'm in my room, I will probably watch videos, and I'll probably do some self-evaluation. Because, like, I feel like you have to get to know your body a lot.
Right.
So, like, if I feel like, because, like, for me, I know I have weak glutes. And I know, like, if I have weak glutes, then that can affect my hamstrings. Because that means I'm putting all the pressure on my hamstrings. And that means when I run, my hamstrings are going to be stressed, and that leads to pull strains, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So when it comes down to that, I would just focus on, like, exercise. So I'll search up exercises, how to strengthen my glutes. So I'll go to my physical therapist and find out how to exercise my glutes. And I'll do whatever I have to do in my room. Because my room is like my solitary. And that's why I like to train. That's why I like to be focused when it comes down to school and track. So, I'll watch jump videos. I'll watch hurdle techniques, sprint videos. I'll watch documentaries, motivational videos. I'll do workouts in my room. Like, I've done sit-ups in my room until I've cried.
So how do you, I'm glad that you're saying that, but how do you, at some point, you got to know what to filter out, right?
Yeah.
You got to know what's good technique and what's not good technique. So how do you go about filtering that out? Do you do that on your own, or do you utilize your dad? Do you utilize your coaches to say, hey, what do you think about this? Is this a good technical approach to what I'm trying to do?
I mean, I usually do it on my own, because I feel like my coaches have set me up and given me the mindset that not everything's going to be given to you.
Correct.
So I think that they allow me to go ahead and put in the work for myself. And, my head coach, Coach Coco, likes to say champions are made when the coach is at home sleep with his wife, which is somewhat true, because a lot of grown athletes, a lot of professional athletes, they'll work out by themselves. Yeah. Or, they'll have a coach, but they know what to do personally.
Right.
What they need to work on, because the coach is not you. The coach doesn't know that you have weak glutes. The coach doesn't know that you have hamstring problems sometimes. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you have to do stuff on your own. You have to take things into accountability for yourself.
And he's talking about that extra work you got to put in.
Yeah.
To be where you are, you can't just go to practice.
Right, because 2 hours is not enough, really.
You can't just go to practice. Your coaches don't have enough time, so that's that extra work to be a champion.
All right, well, fellas, we got a caller. Thank you for calling Next Level Youth Track and Field. We have William Henderson in the studio. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from. And if you're calling from a school, please give us that name as well. Caller, can you hear me? They're gone?
Yeah, just keep going.
I think they're gone. So we wanted the technical aspect. So where do you, again, like Coach Tony said, you're doing 3 different events that ask for 3 different types of movement when it comes for your body technically. Right. Give me some insight on your blocks. Give me some insight on your block work.
So a lot of people like to talk about my start, because I have a really good start and I have really good reaction time. So when it comes down to my block setting, I'm really particular. So I'm a left lead, hurdler, right? Mm-hmm. So that means that if I want a 7-step, which I've been doing all year and got real comfortable with doing it, I have to have
So you're 7-stepping to the first hurdle? Yeah, I'm 7
to the first.
Okay.
So I have to have my left foot in the block, like for my power leg.
Right, your lead.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, you're fine.
I want everybody to know, for a high schooler, 7-step to the first first hurdle, you don't have too many athletes doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know Corey Poole is one.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Corey
you probably count them on your fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't have college athletes not 7-step to the first hurdle,
So, I mean, some pros, like Omar McLeod just started 7-stepping this year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's some unbelievable stuff there.
I follow Omar McLeod on Instagram. So he's been 8-stepping all this time. So he won the Olympics, and he won NCAAs. He won his Jamaican championship all with 8-step, and he's running like 1292 with 8 steps. So he just started 7-stepping literally 2016, 2017. So we'll see how that plays out. But like for me, I 7-step. I'll start my left leg in front. But the problem is when I sprint, my right leg is in front. So my block setting is usually.
So you switch your block settings.
Yeah, I switch my block setting for different events. But usually I'll do a foot and like maybe a foot and a half for my power leg, and usually 2 feet, full, or 2 feet and a half for my non-power leg, and that gives me about the leverage that I needed to get out. My butt does come up a little high, but I think for my height, because I have like really long legs, so I think for my height and for like my body, it works out for me. And sometimes I do like a side step when I come out my blocks. That's something I'm really trying to fix.
Right. Yeah, you definitely got to clean that up.
Yeah, but my start's been a real good factor in my sprint races, so it's been getting me to where I am today.
And for an athlete to use different block settings, oh my God!
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised, and I'm not surprised by his success because of the key things that he talks about, and is if you're really putting in a lot of hours of studying this and going over and over and over, then eventually it becomes second nature. Yeah. So it's not that he's just doing this at practice. And
he's doing it at home.
Right, he's doing it at home.
He's doing it in his bedroom.
He's doing it on the weekend.
He's thinking about it.
Right, he's thinking about it.
When he's sleeping, he's thinking about it.
So that's what makes it second nature. You know what I mean?
And you can tell you love track.
Yeah, my family and I just track junkies all the way.
You can tell you love track. That's what I'm saying. You got some kids who like track.
Yeah.
I can tell you love track.
I feel like track is the type of sport where you have to love it to actually be successful. But like another thing about track is the perfect example of the statement, you get what you really put out.
Oh yeah.
Because track is the type of sport is where your success is based on how much work you put in. And it's not always about how much work you put in, but how productive the work is. Because you can
quality of the work.
Exactly. You can run 300s all your life, and you can stretch yourself out trying to run a 4404. Right. But if you're not doing little things like stability work, or you're not flexible, it has to be productive work all the way around.
It's rare that we get a high school athlete in here that says the things that we preach to the athletes that we train and that we teach. Because one of the things you just said is that it's about quality, not quantity. It's about quality. And when we're teaching athletes, the number one thing we always tell them when we're showing them new techniques is slow down.
Yeah.
Go slow. Because if you can't do it slow, you can't do it fast.
Right.
So slow down. We don't care about how fast you get from here to here. Right now we care about how many quality reps you're giving us that you can continue to build on and build on and build on. So I'm glad you're saying that because it's definitely about the quality and not the quantity. I was going to say something else. What were you going to say, Coach?
I was going to say this young man's track IQ is just off the charts.
It is. But
he's so mature. You're like a senior in college.
He's saying everything we preach. He's saying everything we preach, and look at how he's performing.
Yes.
He's saying everything we preach, and look at how he's performing. We talk about studying, analyzing yourself, researching. When you're at home, get on YouTube, get on the internet. Yep. You got to, it's more, if you want to be, people think being an elite athlete is easy. They think it's easy. They think you're not putting in the time. They think you're just athletic. They think you're just gifted. And no. Ask him how many hours he's putting in dedicated to track.
And I feel like one thing I really want to talk about is that when I first started running track, I started running track when I was 11. So, my family and I were all track junkies. I fell in love with the sport before I actually started running. So, when I was 11 up to 14, so around my freshman year, I was running distance events. So I was a 15-8 guy. I qualified for nationals AAU-wise for the 15, and then when I got to high school, my body changed completely. So I got taller, I got stronger. I always had good leg speed, but I never had the strength to sprint. But my sophomore year is basically where I really started sprinting, jumping, and hurdling. And once I started getting good, people started noticing it more. And people started looking at me differently. And I don't think a lot of people understand, where I really came from. Because a lot of people don't know that I did distance. And a lot of people don't know that I had to basically start from ground zero when I got to high school. So for me, when you go to a good sprinter, it's like, oh, I've been running track since freshman year. For me, it kind of feels that way because I just took away everything I've been training for the past 3 years and started doing something completely different and trying to be successful in the same way. So a lot of people look at that, like, they look at me now as like, oh, he's having fun on the track. I mean, some people like appreciate it, like, oh, he works hard, he's having fun with track, and I'll put on things on Instagram and they'll see me doing that. But some people just don't like it, per se, because like they'll say, oh, like, yo, he's cocky or this and that, he think he's all that, but I like to inspire people because
I'm glad you say that because we're firm believers in.
You gotta filter out that noise.
Hate too. Hate is everywhere.
If you put in all the hard work during practice, then the actual game is supposed to be fun.
Right.
When you get to the track meet, it's supposed to be fun. You probably 85 to 90% of the athletes, and I know you know this, get to the track meet and think they gonna hit that switch. Oh, you've been playing all week in practice.
Right.
Then you're going to get to the track meet and you want to be William Henderson? You want to run those times?
Right.
It don't work like that.
Right.
You got to put in that time. But something you just said...
You got to practice like you want to compete.
Yeah, you do.
Prepare, right.
You can't be in practice going 65% and then you get to the track meet.
Well, it depends. It depends.
Well, I understand.
Depends. Sometimes you're supposed to, you should.
Right.
So it depends. But one of the things you said that I want to jump back to is you said, I had the leg turnover, but I didn't have the strength. So I'm wondering if you have the same theory that I do. So where does your strength come from?
So my strength came from explosion, really, because I did like a lot of explosion, but I didn't really quite lift. Like I don't really lift a lot. Like even now I don't really lift a lot. So a lot of my strength came from explosion, like resistance things, natural things, working my body weight.
What kind of resistance workout?
So
you coming down the hole.
So like
he's coming right down the street. Keep going, man. Keep going.
So I have bands in my room. So like I have like a band at the bottom of my bed that's used for like glutes, hip flexors. Thank you. Hip flexor stuff. I have an iron gym, so I do pull-ups.
He about to get a job. He gonna be our spokesperson. He gonna be our spokesperson.
I do pull-ups, chin-ups, and then I have a bed. I mean, pretty sure everybody has a bed. So I would do crunches. So my crunch workout for me is pretty important to me because I like to challenge myself when it comes down to crunches. Right. So when I first started doing it, I would probably bust out like 50 and probably be like done. But like now, like I would do 2 sets of 50 and then like, okay, I did 100 crunches today. Now, one night I wanted to break my record. So I think my record was like 105 at a point in time. So I'm like, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to have a set. I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing sit-ups or crunches until I can't do it no more. So I ended up doing like 202 and I was cool with that. But, I'm progressing like as I go along. And at the same time, I'm having fun with it. I'm really changing my body, and it's really beneficial to my sport. It's my craft.
You got to be dedicated. I mean, you got it doesn't matter. I don't care what you're doing, whether it's a sport, whether it's a craft, whether it's a business, whether it's a position. If you want to be better at it, you got to be dedicated. Yeah. So the number one thing that you have to do as an athlete, first and foremost, is your body. So the crunches, the sit-ups, the push-ups, that just makes the workouts that they're giving you absorb into your body that much quicker and allows you to perform at a better rate because you're fit.
Right.
Because if you're not in shape, you can't. I'm gonna give you a situation. So I was probably 190 when I came out of high school. It's probably 190. Sprinter. 55, 200 was my max. That's my wall.
Yeah.
And then I'm gone.
I've heard.
Yeah, I'm done.
I've heard.
Yeah, I'm done at the 200. So when I got to college, I was 225 pounds. Trying to perform the same way I was performing in high school. It just wasn't going to happen because my body wasn't fit. It didn't matter that my mind wanted to, but my body wasn't prepared. Right. So I try and tell a lot of athletes, when you're at home, push-ups and sit-ups, because your body has to be at a level of where your mind wants it to go. Right. If your body's not there, that's your vessel. So I don't care what you're thinking about mentally of what times you want to run.
Right.
Your body's not going to allow you because it's not prepared.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like the way like you kind of treat school. So like you know you have a test on Friday, and you know from Monday to Thursday you're gonna be learning the things that are gonna be on the test, and you don't prepare yourself for that whole week for that test. You're not gonna go into the test and get a passing grade. Thinking that it's multiple choice. I'm gonna say a prayer and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and try to guess my way to my 70.
Right, right.
Like sometimes it don't work that way. Same thing with track. You can't go into nationals thinking that you haven't put in work all year and thinking that you can go out there and compete with the best in the country. Yeah. And some of these people are coming from different backgrounds, different regions of the world. You can't go into that thinking that I'm a snap just because it's national,
right.
And
pure
adrenaline. Like they snapping, I'm
right.
snapping.
Right.
So like it's not gonna work. That you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
So like when I came out to nationals, the week before nationals for me, or even like the week before states, I did a lot of mental preparation, I did a lot of physical preparation, and I did a lot of spiritual preparation. So when it came down to my body, I was healthy. So that's one of one. I was healthy for nationals. I was healthy for states. I was healthy for cities. I was healthy for everything. So that there in itself is a blessing. So I knew what I had to work on for my different events. I worked on hurdles the most because I knew hurdles was going to be the toughest event at nationals because there's so many good hurdlers in the U.S. Right. And when I got up there, I got through the rounds for the first day. And long jump, just came naturally to me because that's my bread and butter. That's my favorite event. Mm-hmm. So long jump came natural, but the second day, if you know me, I usually do 4 events, 3 events each meet. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing that all year throughout the whole indoor season. So I think near the end, it got kind of exhausting to the point. And my body's prepared for it because I made the finals in both. And I miss being All-American for both of them.
But this also helped you get strong.
Yeah, but most definitely.
But one of the things you gotta, because you're such a high caliber athlete, one of the things you gotta be wary of is you have to manage your body, right? So every meet you can't do all 4.
Yeah.
You want to, right? Mm-hmm. Because you want to go out there and you compete. But at the end of the day, you got to say, is it good for my body that I'm going 5 meets in a row and I'm doing all 4 events in all 5 meets, right? So you gotta learn how, and they'll do that for you on the next level. They're gonna make sure that they're managing your body properly so that you're not burnt out. Coach Tony, I know you want to get another question in, but before we do, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna touch on something that happened during indoor, little incident for indoor state champ. So we'll talk about that when we come back. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We'll be right back on Next Level Youth Track and Field Talk Show. Welcome back to Next Level Youth Track and Field Talk Show. We have William Henderson from Polytech in the building today, giving him some questions and listening to his vision on track and field and how he work out, his outlook on track and field, his vision, the work that he puts in, and his focus. So right now we're gonna get into the indoor state meet, but right quick, I just want to tell you some of his accomplishments just this year alone. So we're talking about in the 60 meters, his PR at New Balance, he went 6.82. That's his 60-meter PR. Long jump at New Balance indoors as well. He PR'd. He went 24, 8.5. Then at Milrose, the young man broke the record for the 55-meter dash. He went 6.31. And he just gave me a nice fact off air. Milrose has had the 55 for high school 4 years, right? And out of those 4 years...
The past 4 years.
The past 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, in the past 4 years, you said 3 of the 55-meter dash champions have been from Maryland, and all have broke the record.
Yep.
Phenomenal talent, man. Phenomenal talent. So let's get into the indoor 55. I think we have a caller first. Let's see if we have a caller. Is there a question? Okay. This is Next Level Youth Track and Field. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from, and if you go to a school, tell us the name of your school.
My name is John, and I'm from the Wood. I'm a junior.
Do I know you? Oh. Okay. All right. Go ahead, John. What question do you have for William?
My question is, what are you looking forward to the most going into your track career for college?
For college.
That's an excellent question.
Great question. So I'm just gonna go ahead and describe my goals for freshman year. I want to go to NCAA's my freshman year. It would be good to be all Big Ten my freshman year. I also want to win Big Ten championships at long jump, and I want to see how good I can be in the college highs, because I know for sure I'm going to be doing college highs, and I'm doing very well with high school highs now. So I want to have a new challenge and try to go up to college highs and see how that will work out. I just want to continue to improve. Just Big Ten championships is just a goal. I want to get Penn State a team championship. That's one of my goals, one of my roommates' goals. I know it's one of the team's goals. So, and to make it an NCAA, just to be there. Placing top 8 would be wonderful. Winning would be absolutely astonishing for me. So that's a couple of my goals going to college.
So you got low expectations.
Yeah, low expectations.
Expectations are real low.
Low key. Thank you.
Hey, but you gotta shoot high. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you for that call, John. Did you have another one, or was that it?
That was it. So take a lot.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye, John.
Okay, so let's talk real quick, I guess, about indoor state.
Yep.
So it was indoor state. I mean, I had already heard about you before indoor state, but I heard about you as far as stat wise, right? So I work a lot of the meets, a lot of the indoor track meets for the grassroots. I typically work them, especially up there at the Sports and Learning Center.
Right.
Because I can't sit still. So I'd rather go out there and help officiate the meet. So one of the officials, one of the USATF officials, walks up to me, and I'm mad that I cannot remember his name right now. But he walks up to me, and he's not just glowing about your physical ability, but he's glowing about you as a person, you as a man. And he's telling me he's a wonderful kid. He wears his championships and his winning. He wears it well. He's not boastful. He doesn't brag. He's not out here to outdo other kids. He mingles. He's friendly. So that actually, after that is when I reached out to someone that I knew that knew you and said, we got to have this young man on the show. Just because of how he spoke about you as a young man in the community. Because it's not often that you have people that are U.S. between U.S. number 1 and U.S. number 10 that truly is humbled and carry themselves in a manner that is still accessible and reachable to everyone else. We had Lauren in here last week, and I mean just extremely humble. Extremely humble.
Yeah, she's real humble.
Extremely humble. And so I just, I want to commend you on that.
Thank you.
More so and before the accolades of what you're actually doing on the track. Because at the end of the day, whether you win or whether you lose, because of the name that you have created for yourself, always remember there's a younger kid that's looking at you.
Right.
And that younger kid is going to emulate what you do on the track is what they're going to do when they get to the track.
Right.
So if they see our current and future stars on the high school level showboating, they're going to showboat. If they see them disrespecting people at the meet or in the blocks, they're going to do the same thing. So I just want to commend you on your work ethic. I want to commend you on your mannerisms and how you uphold the sport to a higher level of professionalism on the high school level. So I just want to thank you for that. And that's what made me reach out more so than just your stats. So it was that conversation.
Thank you.
So in that conversation, he was also telling me about a hiccup, and that hiccup had the arena in a frenzy. So I'll let you tell the story. But he was telling me that they practically refused to allow them to run the race.
Yeah.
So go ahead. So I'll let you tell us about it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and set the scene for you guys. It's Maryland State Championships. Obviously it's a big meet. It's state championships. It's the best in the state of Maryland. Maryland is the track state, believe it or not. So I knew I was doing 3 events. I knew I had a chance to win all 3. I went in knowing that high jump was going to be the most difficult because I knew there was 2 guys that I know that can jump. That I know that they were going to go out there.
Who are they?
One's name is Nate from South Hagerstown. I forgot his teammate's name, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the results, you can find them. We all went 1, 2, and 3. We all cleared 6-4. So when it came down to 6-6, it was just us 3, and we were just going at it. So I got 6-6 on my last attempt, which is a very special moment because I got the crowd involved, and the whole crowd was on my side, and I was cheering, I was screaming, I was clapping, I was doing all that good stuff. And that was after I had won the hurdle. So my hurdle coach, Coach Eddie, who's a really great hurdle coach, who now has 3 state champion hurdlers at my school. I wanted to win that one for him because I know we were working hard for like the last 3 years, and I have yet to actually get him a hurdle championship. So that hurdle championship for me was special, and the U.S. number 2, the 727 itself, just made it that much more sweeter. I ran 738 in the prelims, and that was like U.S. number 5. So that's still special for him. But I had already won the 55 hurdles, coming off a real exciting high jump. The crowd is pumped up. I like to get the crowd pumped up because I like the atmosphere of like those type meets. So we're getting into the 55 dash, and 55 dash is the event that I was U.S. number 1 in, and at the time I was tied with somebody, Jay Johnson from North Carolina. So I don't like ties. So I don't like being tied for U.S. number 1. So just a little quick fact: I wrote my name and Jay Johnson's name on 3 sheets of paper and wrote the same exact time next to our names. I put them on my door, I put them on my room, I put them like on the wall, on my TV, and every time I walked in my room, every time I watched TV, every time I fell asleep, I saw that. And that was like a week before states. So for me, I knew I was really trying to run fast. I was trying to blow this 55 out the water. So I'm hyped, come off a high jump, but I'm trying to maintain myself because I know I still got to focus on this last race. Because when you go from event to event, you have to focus on the event at hand, right? So we're getting in the blocks. I know the starter is going to hold us, right? I know my reaction time is usually spot on. Starter holds us. I come up, and the gun goes off, and I go. but then I hear a second gun. So I'm thinking that somebody false started. So I automatically assumed that it was me because I got a great start. Like, I watched the video.
It sounds familiar.
Well, I watched the video. It is spot
He's stomping his feet.
on the gun. Like, when I tell you, it's like one of the best reaction times I've ever seen. Best reaction time I've ever had. You know, I didn't think I false started. I was just waiting for the verdict. They ended up giving me the red card. So, of course, for any sprinter, in any situation, you're going to be upset. Okay? I was upset for like 5 seconds. And I walked back to high jump. Cause I had already won high jump, but I had a choice to go back and jump. So, I took the anger, the adrenaline. The crowd was booing the officials. Like, I couldn't really do anything per se as an athlete, because we're trained to let our coaches speak for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just walking back over to high jump. My dad is at high jump, and my dad just is kind of disappointed, and like he has like a face. You feel me? But the officials, I went over to the officials. I'm good friends with the officials, and I said, "Put the bar out. We jumping. That's what we doing." So I took the momentum or the anger from 55. The false start, it took it into high jump. So I took some attempts at 6'7". The crowd was pumped up. I got the clapping. Real special moment for me. I came out at 6'7", and I went back to my family, gave them a hug, kiss. I have fans. I have family friends that really support me. They tried to talk to me, and I was trying to let them know I was fine, because I knew I had something bigger 2 weeks later. So New Balance for me was special for me. That was kind of like my redemption type thing. But the false start is something that I had to come back from, and I came back from it very well. And I treated the whole thing as classy as I could, because some people like to throw scenes, like to get upset. I try to stay as calm as I could, be disappointed, and just try to take it into the next event, because that's what I do, or take it into the next meet. But I posted videos on Twitter, and Twitter kind of like blew up. Because like people would just comment like, "Oh, that's not a false start. That's like the perfect reaction."
Yeah, you share something in common with a guy by the name of Elgin Gordon. He's the coach down over Eleanor Roosevelt. Okay. But he was seeded going into the 55. He was the favorite, and he false started in the finals. Right. And it was the same way. He handled it with class, but he was extremely upset. He was very upset, and everybody's there, of course, to see that person run. Right. They want to see that person perform. They want to see that person potentially break the record. So I can understand why the crowd was up in arms. But like I say, and again, he told me, how you handled yourself with class. But yeah, it's not easy. Yeah. It's not easy to get DQ and then have to mentally, because you had another event. You had to go and continue to compete at another event.
Yeah, I wasn't.
So you have to mentally work through that and get on with the rest of the track meet. Right. So that's not easy at all.
William,
it's definitely not easy.
Share some of this bling you have on the table with the viewing audience.
So I brought 4 medals. Yeah, I brought 4 medals. So I'm going to go ahead and go in the order that I got them. Okay. So this is the Melrose medal that I won at the Melrose Games. They had an invitational 55. I did break the beat record. I ran 6:31, which tied my indoor PR. I had ran 6:31 at Hispanic like 2 weeks or a month before. So this is a really special event for me, because afterwards was really special. So I went to Coogan's, which is the restaurant around the corner from the Armory, and that's like the track restaurant of the world. And a lot of pro athletes go there. The owners are real nice. If you go inside, there's jerseys all over, there's pictures, legendary athletes to go there. Carl Lewis been there. Everybody's been there. So the owner recognizes me, because I came out to Melrose when I was younger with my dad. Like we were I was like 11 or 12. I was somewhat young, but he still remembered me. And Melrose is a big event for him. So he had people inside of like the conference room, and people like the chairman of the boards, the boy Mike, the autistic miler that won the gold medal at the Rio Olympics, and then Matthew Senowitz, the local boy, was in there. So I took pictures with them. I met all of them. I met what's that boy's name? Andrew, the sub 4 minute miler that just turned pro.
Okay.
Met him in a restaurant, took pictures with him. So that day was a real special day for me as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the 2 state medals. Which one's for high jump? This one's from high jump, and this one's for the 55 hurdles. I just basically talked on that. And I jumped 6'6" on my last attempt, and I ran 7:27, which at the time was US number 2. I ran 7:23 at nationals, 60, so they kind of converted. So they have 2 cameras. And this is my favorite medal. This is my New Balance national medal. First place long jump, and I think it's my favorite medal for now. Favorite medal
Until
for
the
now.
next one.
Until the next one.
Until the next one. Yeah.
So
the next one is always the most favorite.
Hopefully, I'll probably get maybe 2, maybe one more of these. But this is my favorite medal, and this will forever be near and dear to my heart because it's my first national championship.
That's a nice medal. Why don't you hold that up a little bit?
That's tremendous.
For the camera?
That is tremendous.
That's nice. That's nice.
That is tremendous.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
Oh yeah, and like my ring,
Your ring.
like when it comes in, I'm gonna wear my ring. So like, if you win New Balance, you get a national ring. I got size for it, cause I definitely wanted my ring. So I got my medal, my shirt, my crown. I was like, so where do you get fitted for the ring? Cause that's important.
Yeah.
So I got.
You work hard for it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
So
you work hard for it.
this is my second gold medal at New Balance because my freshman year I won freshman triple jump. So I have 2 New Balance gold medals and I had the silver from last year.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes.
And so look, man, I mean, I know you putting in a lot of work now, but as you know, it's going to take even more.
Yeah.
When you go to the next level. It's
Yep.
going to demand even more from you mentally. It's going to demand even more from you physically.
But it's not going to be hard for you. I think you can give more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not because you already have the right attitude. You already willing to challenge yourself.
Right.
So you already there. You already there. So I think the next level, preparing yourself, getting yourself where you need to be, is going to be easy for you.
Right.
What you do on the track, we just have to wait to see. But the proper preparation, the mindset, the willingness to challenge yourself, to put that extra work in, brother, you already there.
Thank you.
You already there. I can't wait to get home and replay this for my 13-year-old son.
No. You can't wait till you get home. He make me want to lose some weight to get back on the track. Look, I'm going to catch him one
No,
week.
I don't want to get back on the track. I'm going to
Catch him 1 week. He going to get on the track and walk down there with some spikes. William, you ready? William, you ready? Coach, what's this? He was like, Masters ain't until next week, Coach.
Right.
You early. Masters not until next week. I had my socks pulled up to my knees. Come on, William. But no, man, look, it's truly a pleasure to have you in here, man.
Thank you, man.
We wish you nothing but success moving on. We definitely want to have you back, even when you go to Penn State. When you go back to Penn State,
he's a Penn State commit.
when you know you coming home, just let us know. You have my number. Just let me know when you're coming home.
I'll gladly do.
We'll make sure we can
update
bring
us.
you back on the show so
Update
you can,
us.
give the audience an update on what you're doing, what's going on. Because when you leave here, we gonna follow you.
Right.
They gonna follow you.
Right.
We following you next week. We gonna follow you the week after that. So we definitely gonna
You're going to get some love here, bro.
yeah. We definitely gonna keep following you, man. Like I say, we wish you nothing but success. Please go to our YouTube page, Next Level Youth Track and Field. Next Level Youth Training. Please go to our YouTube page. That's where you'll see this video that'll be posted tomorrow.
Subscribe.
You can also go to our website, www.nlytraining.com, for training information. As far as what me and Coach Tony do ourselves in training people, something you mentioned about resistance bands. You heard of the Vertimax?
Vertimax.
Yeah, I have heard of Vertimax.
We specialize in that.
Okay, that's cool.
We got 5 of those.
All right, we out.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We out, John.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
This
do
is
that
Next Level Youth Training, Track and Field Talk Show. Shout out of love to JT and Jay.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all next Sunday.
Next
Thank
Sunday.
you.